In 1991, John's father, Michael, left his old job and started a new one, which required the entire family to relocate to Bangor, Maine. 8-year-old John was deeply attached to his old home and didn't want to leave, but after his mother and older sister Emily convinced him, he agreed to move to the new place. The factory owner provided Michael with a 2-bedroom flat to live in. The flat had been locked up for nearly 5 years and looked extremely old, with cobwebs covering every corner. John's mother, Sarah, felt an uneasy restlessness in the old flat. Michael and his family wanted to move into a new house, but no, new homes were available for at least a year, so they had no choice but to settle into the old flat. From the very first day, strange things started happening. Despite cleaning the cobwebs, they reappeared in the corners of the flat every day. At night, when Michael and his family were asleep, they could hear the sound of footsteps echoing inside the flat. On the first day, John noticed a large burn mark on the bathroom wall. Over the next few days, no matter how many times he painted over it, the burn mark would reappear every 10-15 days. John began connecting these eerie occurrences and started to believe the flat was haunted. When he shared his fears with Emily, she dismissed them, saying ghosts didn't exist and it was all in his imagination. One night, Michael had to travel to a nearby city for work, leaving John, Emily, and Sarah alone in the flat. The children were sleeping in their room, and Sarah was in her bedroom. Around 1 a.m., Sarah's sleep was repeatedly disturbed by the sound of footsteps inside the flat. The noises grew louder, waking her up completely. Suddenly, she noticed something near her bedroom window, a figure standing outside, peering in. Terrified, Sarah thought it might be a burglar. Gathering her courage, she grabbed a lamp in one hand and a flashlight in the other and approached the window. When she shone the flashlight outside, her blood ran cold. The figure had a burned face with visible bones where the skin had melted away, and it was staring directly at her. In a panic, Sarah dropped the flashlight and rushed to her children's room, turning on all the lights and crying in fear. Seeing their mother's terrified state, Emily called the society's security guard. When he arrived and heard Sarah's story, he was shaken, but searched the flat and found no one. Sarah tried to dismiss the incident as a bad dream, but the sounds of footsteps and strange knocking on the ceiling continued every night. After this incident, the strange occurrences in the flat only intensified. The faucets would turn on by themselves, lights would flicker and turn off without anyone touching the switches, and the eerie atmosphere grew heavier. The most terrifying incident happened one freezing December night with John. He and Emily were sleeping under a mosquito net in their room when the bathroom light suddenly turned on, waking John. He felt something moving beneath him on the bed, as if a wild snake was slithering under his body, making strange hissing sounds. Terrified, John tried to wake Emily, but she was in such a deep sleep that she wouldn't budge, as if under a spell. Then John saw something that chilled him to the bone. A burned hand emerged from the wall behind his bed. It wasn't a human hand, it had 3 thick fingers, their skin melted and charred. The hand slowly moved toward John's head, gently, stroking it as if trying to lull him to sleep. John was paralyzed with fear, unable to move or push the hand away. After a few minutes, the hand retreated into the wall, and John, in shock, pulled the blanket over his face. His bedsheet was soaked. He had wet the bed in terror. All night he felt something crawling beneath the bed, but was too scared to do anything. The next morning, John told his family about the incident. Sarah finally realized the flat was truly haunted. She immediately called Michael back, and that same day, the family moved to the company's guest house and began living there. A few days later, they learned about the flat's previous tenant. 5 years earlier, a chemical engineer had lived there. During a business trip, he died in a horrific accident. When the news of his death reached his father, The man was so devastated that he set himself on fire in the bathroom, leaving a large burn mark on the wall. Both their bodies were cremated together. Unfortunately, 5 years later, John's family was assigned that same flat, which had remained locked ever since. In their new home, John kept piecing together the events, convinced that the burned hand he felt and the burned figure his mother saw were the spirit of the engineer's father, perhaps searching for his son. What do you think? Let us know in the comments.